Welcome everybody to the simply gorgeous Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Today we will see round 7 of the BFGoodrich Tires TransAm Series. This is the TransAm 100. Believe it or not, this is the longest running stop on the TransAm schedule. Derek Daly here alongside former champion Dorsey Schrader. Dorsey, a simply gorgeous racetrack.
That it is. It's one of my favorite racetracks ever to come and race on. It's the longest that these guys run, 4 miles in length, and gorgeous.
After 6 rounds, the Drivers' Championship looks like this. Brian Simo ahead. But one of our storylines today is Johnny Miller is on the pole. Let's go to Greg Creamer.
Paul Gentilozzi has won the last 2 Trans Am races in a row, but perhaps in terms of qualifying, 4 poles this year, the last 3 in a row. It looked like he was going to get his 5th and the 4th in a row in qualifying until the very last lap, when Paul Gentilozzi found himself suddenly in 2nd place. Who was the gentleman that took that away from him? This guy right here, Johnny Miller. And Johnny, your 2nd pole of the year, obviously. You got to be happy about that. But this one, you snuck by Paul on the absolute last lap. That has to be sweet.
Oh, you know, we had to have it. We came here to win, and we've been struggling some early in the year on the pole at Sebring, and just wanted to get back up front where we feel we belong, and race with Paul and Brian, and have just a great time. And so we put it on there.
Well, you showed the speed. Now, at Cleveland, you were able to hound Paul mercilessly through the entire race. You think you got it in the car and in yourself today to be able to take it to him?
You know, it'll be a long race, and obviously the race will tell us that, and we'll go as fast as we can go, and if we've got it, we've got it.
Now, of course, Johnny Miller is in this for the win. Paul Gentilozzi is chasing and looking after a 3rd consecutive Trans Am championship. To take another step, though, he's got to get by this guy.
And it may be hard for this guy to beat Gentilozzi because he's hot right now, Dorsey.
He's very hot, and this is a racetrack that Paul Gentilozzi is very good at. It's a very wide racetrack with a lot of opportunity for passing. Take a look at our Midas track map. You see 4 miles in length, 25 laps race today, 14 turns, a lot of elevation change. The one thing about this track, Derek, for sure, you need a big motor, and if you have one in your arsenal, you always save it for here.
We are on the final warm-up lap. Believe it or not, it's actually been 6 weeks since these boys raced to the last round at Cleveland. The Trans Am has had more than 30 continuous years of racing, but there's a lot of changes in the future. Let's go back to Greg Creamer to discuss the state of Trans Am.
Guys, one of the real nice signs about the strength and the health of the Trans Am Championship under BFGoodrich sponsorship is there are other sponsors coming into the series. Simple Green, of course, with their bonus money for qualifying, and of course their title sponsorship at Cleveland has been on board, but they have upped it. Look at Willie T. Ribb's car. Brilliant Green now. Simple Green sponsoring Willie T. for the remainder of the season, but it doesn't stop there. Number 15, Tommy Dreesy, got that win at Long Beach. He's been recognized as an up-and-comer. And eConnect, a very, very high-tech, up-and-coming internet company, has come on board with Tommy. For this race, they're looking at maybe expanding that as well. Good signs for Trans Am.
Yes, indeed, Greg, good signs. 6 different manufacturers on the grid here. You saw Willie T. Ribb's Simple Green car. Let's have a look at our carparts.com starting grid. On the pole, and a great effort by Johnny Miller just to pip outside poleman Paul Gentilozzi. A very competitive front row. Brian Simo in the Cavalli Mangusta heads the 2nd row. Beside him, Randy Ruhlman in our Oldsmobile Aurora. Back to row 3, Chris Neville in the Ford Mustang, and Leighton Reese, bit of a hometown boy here in the Pontiac Grand Prix. Move back to row 4, and there is Willie T. Ribb's new sponsorship by Simple Green this weekend, and Stu Hainer, his teammate, right beside him. Row 5, Jeff Altenberg in the 2nd of the Jaguar XKRs, and the Ford Mustang of the newly sponsored Tommy Dreesy with the eConnect sponsorship on that car. As you look down, Dorsey, through the rest of the grid, you see Tony Ave. We've seen him do some great things on a low budget this year.
Yeah, and there's Mike Lewis in 13th. We'd usually see him further up. Maybe he had some trouble in qualifying.
Mary Beth Harrison comes back to us, our Canadian friend. As you look down through, Don Maluzio, he is featured many times this year. As you look down through the rest of the huge starting lineup. And Dorsey, that's what happens here at Road America. It is so popular, you inevitably have more starters here than anywhere else. Let's go on board, first of all, with Johnny Miller, the man on the pole. Also carrying one of our onboard cameras is Paul Gentilozzi in the black Jag. Brian Simo has one. The top 3 in the grid carrying our onboard cameras, Lou Gelati, also has one. There is Lou. LG Motorsports builds and prepares his own cars. This is a Chevrolet Corvette. Move back to Randy Ruhlman, having one of his best seasons so far in this Oldsmobile Aurora. And then Steve Pelkey, K Manufacturing, also carries one of our onboard cameras. 4 miles long is this racetrack. It has got slow, fast, and scary speed corners, and it has very, very fast, high-speed straights. Up the long hill, see Willie T, number 16. New color scheme on the right side of your screen there, simple green. Big, big uphill run here. Big uphill run. Miller on the left of your screen. Gentilozzi in the black Jag, right of your screen. And there's the green flag. And it is a huge drag race all the way to a 90-degree right-hand first corner.
And that right-hand first corner is one of those scary fast corners, Derek.
Oh, yeah, it's a third-gear corner. Not much grip on cold tires. There goes Leighton Reese. Willie T's on the inside line. Safe and sound so far. Now we go downhill. A downhill plunge to turn 3.
Oh, look at the wiggling around. Willie T got bumped there a little bit, I think. If he didn't, he yanked the car, got sideways in the brake zone.
That is Jeff Altenberg. This is on board with Lou Gelati. Look at the power of Lou Gelati in that Corvette to slingshot by, coming out of turn 3. Long, long run here. 150 miles an hour to the downhill braking zone of turn 5.
Look at all the fans. This is always a real good racetrack for fans. They love these Trans Am cars.
Willie T down the inside of Leighton Reese. Willie T now, uphill run. So there, Johnny Miller leads. Simo right behind Paul Gentilozzi. Simo in third. Down through the hurry downs now for the leaders.
This turn 6 right here is off camber. It's really hard to get the car to turn. And then you go down here to 7, another off camber in the opposite direction.
Miller looks good here in the brakes. Looks good. There's Chris Neville. Fight for 5th here.
Yeah, with
Willie T.
Willie T having a look in turn 8 on the inside of the brake. Now the fast, scary stuff, Derek. The kink and the carousel. We're in the carousel right now.
Oh, this is the carousel. It's a long, increasing speed, slip, slide, right-hander. Then you go downhill to the kink. The kink is right here. They disappear through the kink. You got to hang on and hold your breath.
Just a touch of the brake, and you're 160 miles an hour through that corner. You don't even want to think about a wreck there.
Fastest part of the racetrack here. The run down to Canada Corner. This is the highest speed, and you stand the thing on its nose. Miller leads. Gentilozzi. There's Simo. Randy Ruhlman is 4th. On board with Randy. This is Thunder Valley. Uphill, under the bridge. Balance the car, and boom! Slingshot through to the last turn. Miller, Gentilozzi, and Simo. 1, 2, 3. Willie T closes in on Chris Neville. Mustang versus Chevrolet Corvette. Over the curves and then up the long drag up the hill again.
Boy, look at the first two. They're pulling Brian Simo quite a bit right there. Miller and Gentilozzi open up 10 car lengths.
Oh, Paul Gentilozzi closes in. He comes down to that inside line just to tell Miller, I am here if you give me half an opportunity. Boy, Miller's had some good races this year. Good races and terrible luck. Miller, who is on the pole, still leads Gentilozzi. Pulled away slightly, as you can see there, from Brian Simo. Oh, this is for 11th place. 11th place, that was the car originally driven by G.J. Menon, but Kenny Wilden is in that car this weekend, following Mike Lewis. There's Altenberg, there's Tommy Dreese, right ahead of Lewis and Kenny Wilden. There's Lou Gelati right behind them. Down the hurry downs. This is, not only is this a long racetrack and a wide racetrack, but there's tremendous elevation changes. Downhill plunge here to the slowest corner on the racetrack, right there, down to the hurry downs.
A brand new snap-on bridge there, I see, that hasn't been there in years gone by. This is a scary corner, Derek. Long, long carousel. Fastest building speed at the bottom, right there by that curve. You're really going quickly.
And here's a battle for 4th place here. Randy Ruhlman closes up on the back of the Mangouste of Brian Simo. Randy Ruhlman has done such a good job this year. Let's go to Craig Creamer, who has Randy Ruhlman's team manager, Russ Thies.
One of the really strong stories that's been developing, especially lately, is that of Randy Ruhlman and the preformed line products olds. Russ, you guys were on the outside of the front row of Cleveland, a great qualifying performance. You back it up here with an outside second row effort. Randy's been a regular visitor to the Fast Five. You guys have some speed.
Yeah, we've been working hard on the chassis most of the year. This is our 5th Fast 5 in a row, and little by little we're gaining on everybody, and I think we're just a little bit away, but we'll get there.
With a little bit of luck, you guys ought to be in the hunt for a podium or maybe even a win here. And Randy is, I think he's finally really getting comfortable in the Oldsmobile. He really looks strong.
Yeah, he really likes the chassis, and like I say, we've been tuning on it all year. Bobby Cronin doing our motors, doing a fantastic job. What can I say? We love it. Just one more place to go, and that's first.
Oh, look at this. Ruhlman down the inside of Simo. Tries to come down inside him at turn 1. Boy, Dorsey, when you come down inside there, you better make sure you get right alongside.
Oh,
or you get your nose chopped off.
John Macaluso.
Look at this. It's a miracle.
Don't know where that is, but he's in the gravel trap thick. No question about that. Let's see who's got horsepower here. I think Randy's quicker in the corner. Maybe that Mangusta's doing the job on top end. We'll see it right here if that's the case.
Hard braking zone.
Yeah, look, he opened up 3 or 4 car lengths at the end of that straightaway.
Yes, he does. Oh, he's off. Simo's off the road.
Simo is off in the escape area.
Simo is off the road. That is turn 5. It's a downhill run from about 150 miles an hour. That is exactly the same corner as we showed you in our tease opening where Brian Simo went into the gravel trap.
Yeah, good point, Derek. He didn't get into it this time, though. He knew it was there, so there he gets going.
Let's take another look. That is an unusual place, Dorsey. Have a look here. We're on board.
Well, now going down this turn 5. Listen now. Oh, you hear the rear axle was hopping. I could hear it. Pop, 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 pop. He locked up the rear brakes and it killed the motor, and he couldn't get it to turn.
So you know what, Dorsey? Rather than try and make it around the corner and take a chance to end up in the gravel trap, he elected just to go straight on. Now, Randy Ruhlman was right behind him. Let's go on board with Randy. Oh, there's a present. There's a gift for Randy Ruhlman.
Yeah.
Makes the pass the easy way. Big smile on his face.
You notice there was no smoke out the back end of the car. That means it wasn't locked up, but you could hear the engine bouncing. The rear axle was hopping. Brian did the right thing by not turning.
Yeah, so now Randy Ruhlman is running third, and can he run down Paul Gentilozzi as Willie T continues to work on Chris Neville? And we are stopped. The race has been red flagged because of 2 crashes. Well, one really because of these race cars. Kenny Wilden, Paul Fix, and Lou Gelati have had a major crash, as we have had in the television truck in the paddock. We've had a major power outage, and Dorsey Schrader, as we watch these cars get taken away, unfortunately, we don't have video of it.
No, because our TV truck, when it crashed, we lost all the power. We lost the ability to not only show the hard cameras, but all our onboard cameras, and one of them was that man right there, Lou Gelati, so we could have seen what caused this wreck, but we don't have a clue.
Yeah, Kenny Wilden, Lou Gelati, and Paul Fix at turn 7. Lou Gelati did make his way down through the carousel just about before he had to get on a hook and get taken back. Gives us a minute, though, while the cars are stopped on the front straight under a red flag situation, to get an update on some of the problems. One of the biggest problems we know is Brian Simo. We saw him running in a very strong 3rd place. Then he mysteriously went straight on at turn 5. He is stopped with our Greg Creamer. Greg?
Brian, when we found you, you're stopped under this red flag. I was listening a little bit to your chat with Joe Huffaker, and the only way I could describe it was confused. You guys, you've got a problem, and you just can't seem to track it.
Yeah, you know, I guess this weekend just isn't our weekend. We didn't come out of the box good, and I really feel bad for the... Excuse me a second. 10-4, hold tight 1 second, I'm on TV. But with... I'm up here on the... up by turn 1. Little strategizing while we're talking, guys, I'm sorry.
Gotta do it.
But yeah, we're off to a bad start, and we've got an issue with this car that's life-threatening to this race. So I think we have no choice but to pull off and fix it. It's a big problem. Yeah, we also have numerous small problems. So our luck isn't here this weekend. We're just going to make the best of it.
Well, from what it sounded like, you said the car is just diabolically loose on the throttle, but you're not sure. You were worried about oil, I understand, a little bit earlier. But it just seems like, yeah, I mean, you can't see out of this windshield. You're in dire straits here.
Yeah. We've had better days. It's sure hard to pull that laugh out because it hurts. It affects us in the championship here. This is a tough one. We came in with a 12-point lead, and we'll walk out with a deficit for sure today. But
you know, we got to race on, and we got to put on the best show we can, and put this Tommy Bahama car wherever we can.
We are about to get underway again. We are under full course yellow following the red flag stoppage. Now, don't forget, every Sunday night we have Speed Vision News Race Week, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, where you will find out every piece of relevant motorsports information. Speed Vision News Race Week. Now, because of the stoppage, this may be laps or a timed event. So, Greg, do you know what's happening down there?
Well, we just checked in with some of the SCCA officials as to what the procedure is now. Here's what's going to happen. When they come around and take the green flag, they'll be starting lap 6. They're going to try and get the full 25 in. However, they have now put a time limit on the race. If they can't get the 25 in, it will stop. And of course, we'll update you on that as we get closer, should that become a factor. Hopefully, we'll be able to get the full 25 in.
Hopefully. The reason it's time certain, this, of course, is a kart champ car weekend. They run a time certain schedule, which means you have a block of time to run your event. At the end of the block of time, you clear out, you leave the track for the next time certain group. So here we go again. Lap 6, Miller still leads from Gentilozzi. Randy Ruhlman, who's a threat, is right behind them. There's your top 3. Then is Neville. Willie T. Ribbs gets passed by Leighton Reese. Well, Leighton takes advantage of Willie T. being a bit asleep. Oh, Ribbs goes down the outside.
Oh, it's smoking. Ribbs' car with smoke coming from the outside of the corner. Quit smoking.
We have smoke from the Simple Green Camaro. Oh, they hit each other.
Yeah, Lewis just got in the back of Ribbs pretty big. And look, there's that smoke again. And, oh, he gives him gave him a hip check.
We're smoking. Willie T is in trouble. He is in trouble. Yes, he is. Dropped off the pace now. Down the braking zone. Turn 5.
Here comes Gentilozzi.
Under pressure.
Gentilozzi knows. Both these guys know that they lost a lot of time. Look at the big fishtail coming up the corner.
Gets it sideways. Johnny Miller on the Corvette has never won a race yet. Gentilozzi pounces.
Into turn 6. That's a real hard place to make a pass. Made that look awful easy.
Wow, it's an uphill run to a left-hander, and Paul Gentilozzi pokes his nose in. Here's the downhill run to the carousel.
Look at the telemetry right there. 128 miles an hour now in the brake zone. Now he's going to go through the left-hander. And watch this carousel. We talk about how scary it is. Well, watch how fast you're going through here.
Boy, that was
over 100 miles an hour on the entry. There's Willie T. He's lost a motor, I think. I mean, we saw it smoke at the beginning. Then he got into a little fisticuffs, a little roughing each other up, him and Mike Lewis.
Yeah, it was with Lewis. Here it is here. This is turn 3.
There he is right there. Look, Lewis hits him in the back. Now, watch. Lewis goes up the inside. Well, he goes, well, thanks. Here, take a little of your own.
The strange thing about that, it looked like Lewis actually got himself in trouble before he might have had that incident with Willie T. But anyway, Willie T is gone. He is gone. Gentilozzi now leads. Brian Simo is making his way from the back. But let's go back and get more of an update from Joe Huffaker with Greg.
With Joe Huffaker. Joe, boy, this has been an interesting one for you. As soon as you could, you guys went to work on the car. Do you have any idea yet what the problem is?
Yeah, we do. We fixed it too. We had a bolt that sheared on the front sway bar, and so we had to try to figure that out with Brian's help. You know, communication, bunch of good guys. We did, but we're lap down now. We got to try to make it up.
Well, obviously this crew has been very fast. The driver very capable, but that's a problem that puts you back on a 4-mile track. But I'm impressed to get that fixed that fast. That's why this guy and this team is in the lead.
Wow, Dorsey, this track is not that bumpy, really, to break a bump like that, is it?
No, it's not bumpy, but there is a lot of load, particularly that carousel and the kink, like we're talking about. You're really laying the car over on the corner pretty hard, so that's kind of what it sounded like. Take a look now. Look, this is the pass for the lead. This is Gentilozzi riding on board. Takes a look at Miller. This is turn 5. Now he'll launch. That little twitch right there cost Miller some speed. Watch here, turn 6. Boy, he drives it up in there deep, doesn't he?
Oh, sometimes that's a risky move because you hope that the other driver, Johnny Miller in this case, sees you early enough and gives you just enough room. Here's a look from on board with Johnny Miller. And Dorsey again, there's the fishtail.
Yeah, just that little twitch broke his momentum. Now watch Gentilozzi, boy, he just drives it in there.
Wow, the brakes on that Jag are very good. Remember, this is the opening lap after being under yellow. On board now with Randy Ruhlman. This is the pass for the lead.
Yeah, there's 5, down into 5, they're braking.
Oh, Gentilozzi gets her sideways,
sure,
too.
He kept it. I think you saw that black marks coming out of the back. Boy, very aggressive, up into 6. Well, Johnny just, I don't know if he got in too hot and he was out wide. He just never turned down.
But Randy Ruhlman is right there now. Look at the battle here. Jeff Altenberg comes down the inside of Leighton Reese for position 5. Look at the gaggle here. Tommy Dreesy's in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Tony Ave's right there.
And so's Mike Lewis right there. They're all in the middle of that thing.
Look at these boys here.
Side by side. Now watch Tommy Dreesy. He might get a big toe off of this, Derek. Those guys being side by side. Look at this. That's Stu Hayner now trying to get in there. 4 wide.
He's right there. There's Gentilozzi. There's Randy Ruhlman.
Oh,
Chris
look,
Neville.
Miller's slowing. Our second place car's in trouble. He's pulling off.
Yeah, he's done. Mike Lewis down the inside. Look at the Banner Racing car down the inside as we watch. Johnny Miller has never won a Trans Am race yet. The AutomationDirect.com backed car, by far the most colorful Trans Am car. Maybe, Dorsey, we can listen and hear something.
Yeah, it stopped. It's done. It shut off. Either he shut it off or it just blew up, one or the other.
I don't see smoke.
No smoke, no noise either, though.
And Miller makes his way back. So he's obviously able to fire that thing up again and makes his way back into pit lane. There's Avi, Jeff Altenberg, Mike Lewis.
Boy, look at this
Leighton
fight.
Reese, Tommy Dreesy. Look at the battle for 9th here. That's Jack Willis and Stu Hayner.
Willis the rookie. Hayner's no rookie. He's been around this place many, many times. Good race going there.
Quick look at the second Cavalli Mangusta. That is Bruce Cavalli in that car. You can determine that by the black roof that is on that car. There's Hayner and Jack Willis. Jack Willis had a podium finish at Charlotte earlier on this year. Great run there. There is Paul Gentilozzi now about 10 car lengths. But this is the fight right here with Chris Neville and with the Oldsmobile Aurora of Randy Ruhlman. We know Randy Ruhlman's car handles very well. Boy, here's the drag up the hill. Long front straight. Pits on our left-hand side. You can see Randy looking in the mirror.
Yeah, he's looking in the mirror for sure.
He did.
Yeah. Now, Chris is getting a little help. I mean, at 170 miles an hour, there is some draft going on right here, so he gets a little bit of help because the Aurora is breaking the wind in front there.
Downhill, turn 3. You see the wings high on these cars. That was a regulation change for this season.
Boy, look at Neville. His car is not good at the exits of corners. That's the second corner in a row. He's fishtailed the back end right at the exit.
And this team has, what, Dorsey, 5 different cars, do
They've got all these different chassis, and they're all put together after Rexon things, so they're trying to make one of these chassis work well with all these different combinations.
Turn 5 again. Gentilozzi now is in control. Remember, 2 times Trans Am champion. If Gentilozzi, there he is right there, happened to win, he will be the only driver to win 3 consecutive championships in 3 different makes of car. A Mustang, a Corvette, and a Jaguar this year.
And Paul's team and Paul himself, they are so strong. I mean, it's really hard for me to believe that he's not going to win this championship. I mean, the trouble that we saw Brian Simo having, he said that he was the point leader and that he thought he would have a deficit at the end of this deal. Well, the man he's talking about is in that black Jag right there.
Yes, he is. There's Tony Ave. There's Tony Ave, recovered from horrendous injuries
At this track.
Single-seater crash. That's right, a couple of years ago.
So you have to wonder if that doesn't sit in his mind when he goes through right here where this accident happened.
Yeah, Battleback had some great races earlier on this year. Did not enjoy the reliability that he needed, but today again is another great Tony Ave day.
Mike Lewis dropped his wheels on the exit of the kink. Now that his eyes are still big. I guarantee it.
Yeah, Jeff Altenberg, the rookie, having a good run today. Jeff started with a great debut race at Sebring this year in that Jag. Not a teammate to Paul Gentilozzi. But this car run side by side with Gentilozzi's. This is a battle for 5th place here now that we're watching. Mike Lewis trying to reel in Jeff Altenberg here on these long straights at Elkhart Lake.
That's why I like Elkhart Lake so much. Look at the room you have to maneuver there. You got these long straightaways like you're talking about there. You can draft up on a guy. You can use him up in the brake zone here. We see that happening right now. Lewis getting a little bit better of braking right there than Altenberg.
Over the top of the curbs, the Steel Racing Enterprises.
Too much
this
brake.
car for Altenberg. I think Lewis has been in trouble in braking there at turn 3 now for the last 3 or 4 laps.
That's where he hit Willie T before, and you saw the back end jump then, and it just jumped here again.
Yeah.
Maybe too much rear brake bias, but he's definitely showing it right there.
Now, Johnny Miller disappeared, having led this race initially. Then we saw him pull off here. He has driven back to the pits. Let's go to Greg Creamer and to get a full update. Greg?
He said he lost all oil pressure. It just completely disappeared on him. Came back a little bit, but obviously he's in some serious trouble here. He brought it down to the pits. I think he's staying in the car, just being hopeful that he might be able to get out. But I would suspect when the crew takes a look in there, he's going to have some serious problems. Oh, there's part of the problem. He sheared a belt. A belt let loose. So he may not be out of this one yet. They're going to go get a belt and see if they can fix it.
Believe it or not, Johnny Miller has his engines built in New Zealand to try and gain a tiny competitive advantage. On board with Gentilozzi, who leads. We'll be back. Welcome back. We are on board the leader, Paul Gentilozzi, trying to win 3 championships in a row. This is a great fight here. Ave, Altenberg, Lewis, and there is Leighton Reese. Whew. Pontiac, Mustang, Jaguar, and Camaro. 4 different makes of car here battling for this 4th place. This is good stuff here. Good stuff.
Good draft going on right now. Altenberg having a draft on Ave. See if he does anything down here. Yeah, he's moving inside. He's going into turn 1. He made it. He takes it.
Again, he shoots down the inside and takes a chance that he stands the thing on its nose in the brake zone. And Tony Ave did see him and gave him enough room, but a good move, great move by Jeff Altenberg in the brake zone down into turn 1.
Boy, he set that up good. He was up tucked underneath in the draft, and he just carried that momentum right up to the inside.
Boy, this racetrack suits the Jags here. Paul Gentilozzi leads in the Jag, and now Altenberg moves into 4th place.
That's the way you want to make a pass, Derek. Totally clean and done before the turn into the corner.
Yep. Yep.
Didn't slow either of those guys up.
And now Mike Lewis is right behind Tony Ave. Look how he slides to the outside line. Lewis looks a tiny bit quicker through the carousel. Here's the kink. Boy, Lewis looks scary when he goes over this curve.
Doesn't he? I mean, that car's upset. Look, he's dropping wheels. That's at 140, 50 miles an hour.
Mike Lewis has a very good team around him. They build their own chassis, build their own cars, and in fact, a new option available this year is fuel injection on these TransAm cars. Mike Lewis, I believe, is the only car with it. For an update on that, let's go to the pit lane to Greg Creamer, who's with team manager Dave Steele.
You know, sometimes in racing you want to hoe your own road and look for the advantage you have. I'm with Dave Steele here, who's the crew chief for Mike Lewis. You guys are sort of going the lone way here in developing fuel injection in the car. How's that coming? You've had 6 weeks since Cleveland. What's the status?
Well, Lozano's been working really hard on it. Steve Clark at Lozano's been working real hard on it. We've done some testing, and it's getting better and better every race weekend. We're a little farther than we were at Cleveland. We're almost on even ground with the carburetor motors now, and hopefully by the end of the season we'll be right there or ahead of them.
Do you think that's definitely the way to go in the future, especially when the 4 valves start coming in?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be the right way to go.
What's the specific advantage over the carbureted engine, do you think, when you get it all sorted out?
I think you get a little better fuel management system, a little better tuning ability than you have with the carburetor on the fuel injection.
And with some of the announcements about going to pit stop races and longer events next year, that could really play a serious role.
Yeah, it can be. It can be. I mean, we took a fuel penalty to we lost a couple gallons of fuel capacity to run the fuel injection, but we seem to be making okay mileage. We're not great, but we're okay.
All right, good luck. It's a great program.
Great, thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, Derek, one thing about that fuel injection, other than they should be able to make more horsepower, but it's also more fuel efficient. They burn less fuel in the same amount of time.
Yeah, but did you see Leighton Reese blow by him coming up that front straight? Took the position away from Mike Lewis, and Mike Lewis got himself into a little bit of trouble, may have missed a gear, but Leighton Reese easily passed Mike Lewis up that front straight right in front of his pit crew who cheered him on.
Now he set sight for Tony Ave. That's the next one for Leighton Reese. If he can get up to where Ave's number 20 Camaro there is. Mike Lewis is not done with this position, though. He said, no, I want that back.
Yeah, there is Altenberg, who just went up the hill through turn 7, top of the hill.
Look at the dirt on the front of Leighton's car.
No.
I just looked in the grill on the radiator inlet, and it's just covered with all sorts of junk. And I look at the windshields of these cars. Look at Lewis's car when he comes down this hill. Look at all the oil on the windshield. When he looks into the sunlight, it makes it really difficult to see.
Slowest corner. Oh, here's something that'll be difficult to see. Dust and gravel.
Oh, man, that's up in the Watts Maluzio.
Don Maluzio in the gravel trap.
Boy, he just
Is that turn one?
Yeah, it's turn one, and he barely missed the wall. Maybe he didn't hit it, but that gravel trap saved him if that's the case, because, man, you don't want to go off there.
Dust and dirt flying everywhere as Don Meluzio takes his car off the racetrack into the gravel. There's Mike Lewis again, goes so close to the curbs on the outside of that kink.
Uh-oh. Look here, that's Randy Ruhlman.
Oh, look at this. Randy Ruhlman, who had such a great run going, ran in second place for so long.
Boy, what a shame for Randy.
Randy Ruhlman. Boy. Let's go on board. Dorsey, can we hear anything?
Went dead. He's still in gear. You hear the engine turning.
What a shame for Randy Ruhlman. Let's go to Greg Creamer.
When we talked with Russ Theus earlier, things were looking so up and everybody had such enthusiasm, and now Randy stopped on track after a great run. Rusty, any idea what happened?
No, he said on the radio it just stopped. I guess I got to stop talking to you like this, Greg. We have to stop meeting like this.
That's true. Every time we've chatted about something, there's been a problem. You have to be encouraged, though, with the speed. I mean, yeah, he had a couple of guys drop out in front of him, but Randy was right there. This program is really hooking up.
Yeah, we're going to get there eventually. Just have to get rid of all the gremlins, I guess.
All right, well, tough day again for Randy Ruhlman, but the promise, the potential, so big, and it will be fulfilled.
And the promise and the potential is definitely there. As you look at our top 10, Kerry Alexander from Indianapolis is now in that top 10 group. This is a battle that rages here. Fourth place. Mike Lewis lost his position to Leighton Reese on this uphill run past the start-finish straight, and now Leighton Reese is closing in on Tony Ave.
Oh, that's let Jeff Altenberg get a big lead. You see right there the Jag going out of your screen. They were all together just a couple laps ago, but this fight, the furious fight they've been having, is letting him slip away.
And Tony Ave takes that defensive line as Mike Lewis again puts half the car off the racetrack, Dorsey, over those curbs.
Boy, you know that, and it hurts the suspension, and you got to worry about a puncture and the high loads on these cars. But he's off there every single corner.
Every time, yeah. There is Jeff. There is Altenberg. He is the rookie. Here's again this long run. Long run. Meanwhile, Paul Gentilozzi is safely up in the lead. Chris Neville is still in second place.
Look at Ave locking the rear tires up again. You saw those smoke.
Oh, no. Jack Willis got in trouble.
Boy, that's a shame. He had a good run going in the Corvette.
Jack Willis. We hear that it is a broken engine. Boy, we have had a lot of engine problems here. Which, Dorsey, it's not unusual because they're at high revs for so long at this track.
These long straightaways, Derek, you're pulling top gears and you're pulling for a long time with wide open throttle. And we have had a lot of engine failures. It's not characteristic.
But it is frustration for the drivers. Tony Ave again, you see on that wide line of the carousel. Now, the future of Trans-Am racing looks very bright indeed. Let's go to Greg Creamer with our BF Goodrich Tires Tech Tip.
Sometimes in a series, the rules developments and the technical developments aren't in the season, but they're forward thinking. Well, some huge news developing here for the BF Goodrich Tires Trans-Am Championship here at Road America regarding bodywork, pit stops, longer races, lots of developments this year. I'm with Kevin Bayless, who's the competition director for the series. And Kevin, a lot of news coming out of here. Tell us what's on the prowl for 2001.
Well, the first thing is going to be a bold new look for Trans Am. All new bodywork with all new cars coming in for 2001. Very aggressive. Much more identifiable, however, with the production counterpart. We're talking big wheel arches. We're talking modifications in the lower 10 inches of the bodywork. Everything else will match the production car identically, right down to the side view mirrors and the door handles. Second thing is going to be 125-mile races at some of our events. Those will include a mandatory fuel pit stop. We're going to get back into the team strategy things, get the teams involved, and hopefully add some real excitement there. Outside of that, we're going to try to keep things pretty calm for the teams. We've got a great competitor base, a lot of nice cars out there, good teams. We're just going to tweak things a little bit to make it more exciting for the fans, more recognizable for the fans and manufacturers as well.
Now, the cars themselves, the bodywork will still be silhouette style, hung on racing chassis. You're not using actual production cars still.
Absolutely. They will be carbon fiber production counterparts. So yes, they will look identical to the production car in those areas, but they'll still be carbon fiber hung over a real purebred race car.
Got to ask you one question. In the past, Trans Am car is known for that extra super wide deck on the back that doesn't resemble, frankly, much from the production car. Are those gone? Are they going to follow the exact template for the width of the car as well?
Those are gone. That's exactly why we went to the spec rear wing this year. We made a step in the right direction. We're going the next big step right now. We want to get these cars looking like their street car counterparts, but we're going to keep that racy, aggressive look.
It's going to open it up to a lot of different manufacturers, a lot of different engine combinations. This is exciting.
Yes, it is. We've got meetings scheduled with numerous manufacturers. There's a lot of interest from them now based on the new look, and we're really looking forward to 2001 and beyond.
We are on board with Brian Simo, who is now running well, but he is a long, long way down, having been a lap down earlier. And we're going to go on board and take you all the way around Elkhart Lake, 4 miles long, on board one of the fastest cars here.
Oh, look at the smoke of the guy that's right in front of him. The guy locks up the rear brake. This is turn 3, Derek. Long run. Now watch this straightaway.
This is about 160 miles an hour.
Yeah, and you see that truck up on top there. That's painted on. It's not really a truck. Watch now. The whole elevation drops off, and you got to slow down from 160 miles an hour. Turn 5. Ooh, hear the wheel spin. You hear the motor creep up there.
Uphill. This is where Gentilozzi took the lead earlier. Now this is to the hurry down. So it's a left-hander, a right side kink. Kerry Alexander, yeah.
And with some car problems, you see it locking the brake up. Brian's got a good run down to turn 8. This is hurry downs.
Slowest corner on the racetrack here, 2nd gear. And now you hold your breath. This is where it gets scary. Watch the carousel here.
And work the throttle.
How much do you dare? How much do you dare to put the throttle on?
There he goes.
All the way over the curb, and here's the king. How fast is this?
This is over 140. Watch right here. Get back on the throttle. Drive off that corner. Now this is the back straightaway, which isn't straight, and you're headed toward Canada corner. Listen for the downshifting. It's got to go all the way down to 2nd gear.
Local yellow. Local yellow there. There's Randy Ruhlman finally getting him away. Whew.
Oh, across the curb, you hear it hit.
Last corner. 3rd gear right-hander. And look at the elevation change. Look at the uphill run to the start-finish line. Look, uphill, straight uphill, uphill, uphill. Boom, then you level out at the top. Great elevation changes here at Elkhart Lake. Meanwhile, back to the battle.
Battle it is.
Oh, there's a traffic jam here. Down to turn 2 and turn 3.
Oh.
That's Jim Briodi. Jim Briodi got caught out by Claudio Bertine, who was running slowly down the inside. Jim Briodi didn't see him, and lo and behold.
Whew, that was a close one. That could have been a very big accident.
Look again, top left of your screen.
Briodi doesn't see a slow car of Claudio Bertine. Now he almost hits the end of the concrete wall at over 100 miles an hour, spins like a top. Luckily comes to rest here without hitting a thing.
Well, well, well. Jim Briodi, who was an innocent bystander, got caught out, unsighted, and that dodged a bullet there. Meanwhile, back up front with Paul Gentilozzi, our leader in the Jaguar. We're going to go on board here. Again, this is the run down to turn 5. Paul Gentilozzi is on a roll right now. This Jag was not uncompetitive, unreliable. At the start of the season, he blew some tires, had all sorts of mechanical troubles. But when this thing started to come on song, Dorsey, it really came on like gangbusters.
Yeah, once Paul got momentum, which has been a couple races back, he's been totally unstoppable, and it looks the same today.
He has more wins than any other Trans Am driver, being 18. Guess who is next in that line? Dorsey Schrader and Willie T. Ribbs have 17 wins apiece, but Paul Gentilozzi now has 18. And this thing is coming on song at the right time. Suddenly, a huge lead in the championship that Brian Simo enjoyed has evaporated all of a sudden.
Actually, Paul's 18 wins give him the lead of any of the current drivers in Trans Am, but there are a few drivers with more wins than that.
Last year, he won 6 races. He was on the pole 4 different times on his way to the second Drivers' Championship. Paul Gentilozzi is well in control here, having shaken off the attack from Johnny Miller earlier. There is Paul Gentilozzi, the Johnson Controls home-linked back Jaguar. He did not lead for the whole event here, but once he got into the lead, he pulled away steadily and has controlled this whole event, as he has for the middle of the season. We are in big trouble here.
Whoa, have to figure that's Mike Davis's car right there. Mustang, that's been hurt very badly in that wreck. I didn't see the other car yet. It was back up the hill. I was in the brake zone for turn 5.
Mike Davis in all sorts of trouble. That is Gary Johnson, again, another Ford Mustang.
Wow.
Boy, this is a huge impact.
Yeah, that's at 170 mile per hour. So if they hit, look at all the debris on the racetrack from where they've gone off and come back on. They've been into the wall up there.
Full course yellow, full course yellow. There is so much debris and so many crashed cars around the back that were forced to go full course yellow. We have another crash.
I can't believe that happened. That's, oh my God. He hit the parked car there. You see the corner workers? I don't think anybody was hurt. Ooh, that was close.
You know what? In the braking zone, in fairness to him, as he stood on the brakes, there was so much dirt and debris offline that he lost control. And meanwhile, Paul Gentilozzi is going to win this thing because of the time-certain schedule on kart champ car weekends. We will be out of time, and this will be called a race with Paul Gentilozzi and the #1 home-link back Jaguar winning at Road America. Paul Gentilozzi knows it, yes. Checkered flag comes under full course yellow. So our 2 times Trans Am champion will now lead this championship for the first time this season. Let's go back and have a look at these wrecks again. Dorsey.
Mike Davis. Oh, they hit. Oh, my gosh.
Look at Davis.
Wow. That was really lucky not to have gone upside down at that speed. He climbs up over the top of Johnson's car. Wow. Huge accident right there.
Mike Davis from Huntington Beach, California. Cease just about missed him. But Mike Davis almost rolled his Mustang upside down. Now, here's the second incident.
Look at how the debris, and there the Corvette loses control. Watch the corner workers.
Oh, they run.
Whew. That's the doctor's car, too, the white car there. Boy, that was a close one.
Yeah, that was a close one. That was very, very scary. These 2 boys in a battle for position.
That's Mike Davis right there with his back to you.
Interlocked wheels.
Talking with Gary Johnson about what in the world just went wrong.
And they have 2 well-destroyed race cars. But there is the winner, Paul Gentilozzi. And he is on his way, maybe, to his 3rd consecutive championship in 3 different makes of cars. And his 3rd consecutive win this season, his 4th victory at Road America. Wow, what a season unfolding here for Paul Gentilozzi. The winning streak started in Detroit, I believe.
Once he got that momentum, I'll tell you what, he has not looked back from that win, that first win on. He has been the dominant force in Trans Am.
And for the Jaguar, when Paul won at Detroit, it was the first win for the Jaguar in Trans Am since 1981, when Bob Tullius in the XJS Motorsports car won at Moe Sport Park. You know what? It's worth having a look at these crashes. One more time, look at this. This is just downright scary.
Whew, that was just way too close.
Boy, in real time, it's even more scary than in slow-mo.
And then watch this time. Now watch the 3rd car in line right there. 2nd car in line, sorry. Oh, and all those workers standing right there. That's all that debris from the first wreck.
As if there wasn't enough damage on Gary Johnson's car, he gets another kiss in a second incident. But there is our top 10 with the race now over. Unofficially, we have Paul Gentilozzi winning his 3rd of the season, Neville a 2nd, and Altenberg in the 2nd Jag his 3rd. So round 7 of the BFGoodrich Tires Trans Am Series is now over. The former drag racer Paul Gentilozzi is the winner. He's with Greg Creamer.
Boy, timing is everything, and did I pick the wrong time to walk in the victory circle as Paul's sending the water spraying everywhere. Paul, congratulations. I know this one meant a lot to you. You were chasing Brian, you've been chasing Brian, you've been chasing Brian, and every race you said, it doesn't matter, we need to win to get up front. You just keep doing it.
Well, championships are about teams, and the Homeling Jaguar has the team. I don't care anybody says about fast race laps or poles, but when you had a guy like Troy and Marty working on your car, I mean, to have a car chief for 11 years, to have a team manager, Mark Strickland, those guys work together with my son John, the engineer, to work on a new setup to come here. A lot different than when we ran here the last time, and my son Tony made a kick-ass engine. It was just unbelievable. But there's 14 guys that work on this, and that team beat the other teams. The driver had the easy part.
You also had to chase Johnny Miller, who pipped you for pole right at the end. Johnny obviously had a pretty good package as well, and until it went away. Were you confident, though?
Oh, yeah, I knew Johnny had a great straightaway car. You know, that Corvette, that's one of our old Corvettes, and he's done a great job running it and did a great job getting the pole, but I knew we could run him down. He was braking pretty early, and one of the things we worked so hard on our team is making the car go 100 miles at a really tough pace, and that's what we did. We just wore him out.
Yes, he did. Let's take a look at our high-tech owners' point standings. Rocket Sports with Paul Gentilozzi at the head of the group here. And you look down, you see Leighton Reese, number 5. And let's go back down with the hardest working man in all of motorsports, Greg Creamer, who's with Chris Neville.
Chris Neville's with a brand new team this year, and it's been a roller coaster ride. You started off great, had a couple of problems mid-season. Now you're back on the podium and in second place. That seems to be coming back to the top of the ride for you.
Oh, man, we needed that 6 weeks off. You know, I think most teams probably said 6 weeks. That's great. Let's take a vacation, go to the coast, have a few laughs. Mike Seymour, our team manager, said, guys, you guys are going to be working hard. Actually, let's cut the front of the car off and start over. So we have a whole new car pretty much. Brand new engine program, too. The guys at Roush Racing are now building fantastic motors for us, and hopefully it's just going to continue to get better and better. And, man, I got to thank the guys at Ford Engineering, too. They came down to the shop, really helped us with this new front clip. We're planning on doing the rear end here pretty quick, too, and we're just really going to continue with this program to hopefully continue to put podium finishes together and maybe get a couple wins and get this old Mustang body back in victory circle here.
Well, obviously the chassis work's doing strong, but as Dorsey's fond of saying, it's nice that Road America to outhandle them on the straights, and obviously that motor program's working.
Oh, man. You know, this is the first time in Trans Am that I have gotten in a car and gone by people on the straightaway. It was absolutely amazing. So these guys at Roush, they know what they're doing. They put a great motor together for us, and, you know, I think it's just going to keep getting better all year long.
That's a heck of a grin this guy's sporting. I think he's looking forward to the rest of the year.
You got that straight. We got 6 more to go, and it's going to be fun.
Let's have a look at our full field results, and you see Chris Neville there shown in second place unofficially. However, as you look down through our top 10, I do want to update you that at technical inspection, Chris Neville's Ford Mustang was found to have a fuel tank that was too big. They're allowed 32 gallons. His was actually 34 gallons. So, in fact, he was disqualified from that second place. So that was an oversight that slipped through when they built this new car. There was so much going on that they didn't measure the fuel tank before the start of today's race. Let's go back to Greg Creamer.
Well, I guess you could say the cat's on the prowl here at Road America. First and third, two Jaguars on the podium. And, Jeff, it's your third podium of the season. You've been quietly building a very effective program here.
Yeah, I am so happy for Bob Steele and the Steele Racing Enterprises team. To put the Jag on the podium for the third time is beyond what I thought we were going to be at this point in the season.
Obviously, you had some work to do on the track, though. You got some help. Some guys in front of you had some problems, but it was not easy out there.
No, early on in the race, the shifter was binding up. I was having a real problem shifting. I had to use the clutch all the time, up and down. I felt like Papa out there because my arm was getting a hell of a workout. But then it did start loosening up near the end. The car was fantastic. I had a little bit of push at the beginning. The fuel burned off, and it just came right back. And I felt like a few more laps, and I might have caught Chris Neville. But I'll take the podium any day.
A lot of drivers had some awfully close calls out there. How did things go for you?
I had a few myself. Absolutely. There was, you know, some real close running. I ran side by side with Mike Lewis through a few turns, and we raced each other nice and clean. I just missed a couple of crashes. Lou Gelati, I hope those guys are all right. That happened right in front of me, and I just got by. So, you know, great car, great team, but, you know, it's always good to have some luck.
You got to have the luck, but you got to have the car and the team, and you got to have a driver like Jeff Altenberg. Third podium. Way to go, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
Great job by Jeff Altenberg. Let's have a look at our driver points. Paul Gentilozzi, for the first time this season, moves into the lead ahead of Brian Simo. They both have 3 wins apiece. And look at Jeff Altenberg. Reflecting his podium position today, he's now 3rd in the championship. Rookie points. Jeff Altenberg leads by a country mile over Jack Willis, Mike Davis, Gary Johnson, and Ken Murillo. The driver points we showed you did reflect Chris Neville's disqualification. And we have a new championship leader leaving Elkhart Lake that was action-packed. Now, for more on the Trans Am Championship, and in fact on all of motorsports, don't forget to log on to www.speedvision.com. For Greg Creamer and Dorsey Schrader, I'm Derek Daly saying so long from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, as we celebrate with Paul Gentilozzi, our new championship leader.